Hey,
We can
Rick,
jump into it.
Hey, good afternoon.
how are you, sir? Mark Ziegenfuss up Grainger. We've spoken in the past.
Yes, we have. Good to hear from you again.
Yes, sidebar note, PPG is signed up for the fourth year in a row, so we got that going on.
Excellent.
All right, good. We've got some more people joining, so it looks like my invite did not get lost. So we are good. So we will kick it off. So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for jumping on our December safety drumbeat. For those of you who did not see the invite update, I added an agenda on there. Today we have two guests joining us. One is Trey Johnston, Grainger's corporate safety consultant, and he is actually, this is a new change. He's going to be aligned to Matthews to support you guys moving forward. He's a permanent resource for you at the corporate level. So I would say wealth of knowledge, and he is there to help as needed as we move forward. Also on the line is Rick Kalman, Grainger's Senior Manager of Services and Solutions Development. And they are going to be reviewing Grainger services as a SKU and digital training for you today. Focus is really high level. So I would say if you have questions or want to see anything particular or more detail on something, please don't hesitate to speak up or throw your question in the chat. That goes for both sellers and safety folks on the line. And then at the end, if there's time, I'll kind of open it up for suggestions. I haven't done this before, just suggestions for the next drumbeat. I always want to make sure that the content on these calls is relevant and helpful. So wanted to give you all a chance to give your input on topics. And after the presentation, I will send out the decks. And then I did start a YouTube page so the Matthews folks can have access to all of the recordings. I will upload that one onto YouTube for us. And with that, I am going to go ahead and pass it along to Trey Johnston. Go ahead, Trey.
Hey, Amanda. So I think we did preliminary have discussions around the next few calls, right? Or am I confusing accounts now?
Nope, you're
Which is
good.
highly
Yeah,
possible.
there's a couple of topics. I think maybe we'll throw a couple of topics out and let you guys decide what we want to do for January.
Yeah, and we could approach that at the end. All right, well, good. Let me go ahead and share my screen if that's okay. Pop this thing up here. All right. Well, happy holidays, everyone. Thanks for finding time here just before to join us. Obviously, I'm excited to support Matthews going into 2023. Can't believe I'm saying that. Seems like the years have flown by. But so today we're really focused around some services as a SKU. I think a few requests had come through, and we felt it would prudent to address some easy opportunities for us to find some partnership synergies. So I'll go ahead and dive into that today. So when it comes to respiratory protection, whether voluntary or involuntary, obviously you're going to have a medical clearance evaluation prior to donning a respiratory device that's tight fitting to the face. So we have that set up in our system as a SKU. So it's easy for our customers to go on, order the SKU like a normal Grainger product, and then the process will kick off on our end and we'll get in touch with you to get that set up. Our partner is EI Group, who's one of our national service partners that we have that really is a robust group and can bring a lot of IH work, additional OSHA related things as well. I think one thing I wanted to pause here and bring mention to is even if, and I alluded to it earlier, even if you're not on a mandatory program, and there will be voluntary use of respiratory protection, specifically tight fitting, the medical clearance is still required. What you'll see there to the right is just an Appendix D, which is OSHA's language, and actually has to get signed by each individual site. So you want to make sure that if folks are going to voluntarily wear respiratory protection for, communicable disease prevention, maybe they feel it just aids them and, they don't trust the science, that maybe the exposure or threshold limit value is at what they're comfortable with, they're going to go ahead and wear a respiratory protection device. They're going to need to make sure that you have that signed and documented and they understand the protocols for that. You'll also want to evaluate those respiratory devices when they do come on site, just like any other PPE related item that would come outside of maybe what you've already stocked in-house. So I put the language in here that you can reference for each individual site, as well as an example of an Appendix D that would get signed for voluntary. If you're not voluntary and you're obviously mandatory, then you'll take action to get the appropriate protection in place. You know, one of the key things outside the medical evaluation is that you conduct fit testing. We can support you all with that. I always encourage my customers to get their local representatives on site that actually manufacture these products, because we'll be able to discern the right product for the application, whether that's, you know, a nuisance, dust, or gas, vapor, that sort of structure, or do we need to move into higher levels with, you know, potential PAPR systems or, you know, full face, half mask style of respiratory protection. So I'll pause there. Any questions? Pretty self-explanatory. Yeah.
I'm not
yeah.
sure if you mentioned this or not, and I apologize, but I didn't hear you say on the medical. I know that there's an exemption that had been sent out by OSHA for voluntary with a like a filtering face piece.
I didn't mention it. Maybe provide some more context. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
So the medical is not required when it's just a filtering face piece. It's only required if it's an elastomeric or if it's
Gotcha.
going to be a something that you have to have as part of your program. So as part of your program, there's no exemption. If it's voluntary, there's an exemption for filtering face piece only.
Okay. Yep. I missed that. Was that during the COVID era they released that exemption?
Actually, it goes back to like 2001, maybe.
Oh.
I'll get the exemption letter and send it over so we can make sure we're singing from the same sheet of music.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, apologize about that, but yeah, that's the first time I'm hearing about that, which is probably not uncommon, but it is the first time I'm hearing about that. All right. Any other questions? Thanks, Larry. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and for anyone on the line, Trey, just for clarity, I think there's a couple of instances of seeing the Grainger part numbers. For those of you who don't order all the time from Grainger, if you're on your Ariba platform, punching out to the Grainger catalog, just type that number in and that'll pop it up, and it'll pop up just like any other item on the Ariba punch out. And those of you not on Ariba, if you're utilizing Grainger.com, same thing.
This is a great resource. Thank you, guys. This is great.
Yeah, it takes the guesswork out of it or having to go to the doctor, you know, just get you cleared online. So it's a much easier process, especially for employers who don't want to put their employees at risk for sending them to a doctor's office on work time. So nice little feature. Yeah, glad to have it. So I'll move on to some additional services as a SKU. Additional industrial hygiene type services might be an SCBA medical clearance, audiogram entry, PFTs or fit test entries are also available. Other SKUs that we have there, right? So I just wanted to call that out if that were to come. Those are typically more site specific and less overarching as a general medical clearance might be. Some additional specialized trainings that we have that we want to make note of, at least so you're aware of, would be some Red Cross blended trainings. So you think about AED, CPR, bloodborne pathogens, first aid. That would be, you know, opportunities for us to partner. Active violence or armed intruders, unfortunately, is a thing, and you know, pretty prevalent in society. Actually had a facility in Chicago. Won't name the customer, but they had an incident happen while I was still consulting in that region. So it's pretty tragic. I mean, it's not something we want to happen, but unfortunately, I think the FBI statistic around that is that 5% of the workforce is on the edge of some sort of violence in the workplace at any given time. So, if you bake out 5% of the total workforce, that's a pretty significant number of individuals. So, good to have in our arsenal to support our customers. I think, the other thing that, as we're building out safety cultures and getting acumens higher around safety, we think about those frontline supervisors. We think about, how do we get them trained up more appropriately? So having OSHA 10 for general industry or construction, and then OSHA 30 for construction would be a good starting point. We can support the 8-hour for HAZWOPER, hazardous waste operations training, as well as NFPA 70E electrical training. So just more robust ways to support your organization. Rick, did we get the 30-hour general industry through yet? Will that be listed as a SKU eventually?
The SKU is live tomorrow.
Sweet, good timing.
It,
So we
it
will
probably
have-
won't be on, just FYI, it probably won't be on the website. Well, I know it won't be on the website tomorrow, but it will be available for order tomorrow.
Okay, we'll make sure we get that out to you. So we do have OSHA 30 general industry now as a SKU that can be ordered, which is good. So next, I guess I'll pause there. Any questions around these? This link that you see here will take you direct to the website, so you can click into these and learn more information. As we said today, it's a very high level overview. So any questions before I pass it along to Rick?
No, I think these
All
are
right.
great resources. I'm glad you shared them. Thank you, Trey.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to pass over to Rick Kalman. He's our digital guru. That's what I call him, for safety services that we have at hand, as well as some additional digital services that we're bringing to the table to support our customers. He'll do a general digital offer overview, and then we're going to showcase our hand and power tool micro learning. I know that that's a focus for you all, specific to grinders, which is what we'll talk about here at the end. So Rick, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. You want to go ahead and grab
Sure.
yours and bring it up?
Yeah, let me know when you can see it. I'm assuming you're not seeing it yet. Is that right?
That's
Correct.
That's correct.
Not yet.
Let me try that again. Okay, now you should be.
There we
There we
go.
go.
Yep.
We're good.
Very good. So as Trey said, Rick Kalman, Senior Manager, Online Safety Solutions. So I've been responsible for Grainger's digital EH&S offering for the last 12 years. So this is a very baked out offering. There are a few things that are newer, like we mentioned, the OSHA 30-hour general industry, which we're adding tomorrow. So we're always looking for new things to add to the service offering, but we've had many of these for quite a number of years. And that's only to tell you that we've been doing it a long time, and we have what I believe to be the most robust offering, certainly of any of our competitors in the industry. So you may have in the past heard us refer to this suite as Online Safety Manager, and we changed the name to Digital EH&S Services about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. So just a little bit of rebranding, and I think more reflective of the capabilities that we have, because it goes well beyond just safety and OSHA compliance into health and environmental as well. So this is kind of an overview of our complete offering. I think, Trey, I think I kind of would like to hit the slides. I'm going to do it very quickly because I think there's some key points I want to hit on instead of just talking to this slide, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, and Matthew's team, Larry and team, if you want us to pause at any point, just interrupt us.
Yeah.
And we'll be glad to pause and talk more in depth.
Yeah, I'll just take like 5-10 minutes if that works. And but I think it'll be more meaningful if I hit the slides themselves rather than just talking super high level here. So learning management, we have a learning management system. This is what the dashboard view looks like. We'll actually go into the LMS here in a moment. This is a typical online training course, just to give you an idea of the user experience of the individuals who will be taking online training. But we have over 900 online training titles in our library. Once again, safety covered, but environmental, security, DOT, even some human resources courses in there. And this is a enterprise learning system where you can make your own group assignments. You can even build your own course curriculum, load your own content. And of course, the system will automatically send out reminders for anyone who has an email address. It's not a required field in the system, but it will send out those notifications automatically. So you or whoever the administrator is going to be just has to just check on the dashboard once in a while just to make certain there's no issues. Just with these widgets here at the top, as you can see, it's a really quick view into seeing if there's any issues. If so, you can drill down into the reporting from there. Any questions on this? Trey was talking about specialized training, so I'll take a little deeper dive into this. We call them specialized because these go above and beyond the awareness level training that I talked about in those 900 titles a moment ago. So these are purchased separately. Some of these can be hosted on our LMS, but you can purchase them right on the Grainger website, like OSHA 10 and 30 hour. Once again, the general industry will be available tomorrow. NFPA 70E, HAZWOPER 8 hour. We even have Red Cross and IOSA courses as well that you can purchase. Now, these are not certification level, this category here, but we also have blended courses, as well as we can just come on site and do first aid, AED, CPR on site only, which will have the Red Cross certification. And so if you like the idea of being more of a blended, meaning the employees would take the digital portion first, and then we would come on site and do the skills evaluation, then that's kind of a blended approach. And we just released within the last week a new transitional reality courseware offering. So more information to come on that. Don't even have the marketing sheet available yet, but we do have the offering ready to go. And that's a kind of a little bit of a hybrid on virtual reality, really exciting new courseware content. We offer incident management. First of all, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Everybody good?
Yeah, we're good, Rick.
Okay. And please stop me at any point in time you have questions. So we have an incident management tool. You can see the dashboard view here with graphs and charts to track trending. So, tracking all of your injuries, illnesses, near misses, schedule and monitor your corrective actions through this tool, document your accident investigations, and then look for trends so that you can improve and be predictive on when things are likely to happen in your workplace. And obviously, this is designed for those that are still using spreadsheets and paper to automate that process, to give you time back in your day and to ensure things are being tracked as they are required by OSHA. And this will automatically populate your OSHA forms for you as well. We do have inspection and asset management. So just wanted to provide you these screenshots so you could see kind of a user interface, what they look like, how they look to the end user, in this case, the administrator. But you can conduct your inspections using a smartphone or tablet right on the mobile app, and you can build your own safety forms. Although we do provide pre-built safety forms in the tool, but you can add your own and customize the ones that we have. You can even manage the life cycle of your assets, schedule and monitor your corrective actions, once again, similar to the incident tracking, and then look for trends. And once again, get out of paper spreadsheets if that's how you're doing it currently, which has a lot of benefits, obviously saving you time and just being more automated.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of open up that question to everybody on the line, all the Matthews safety folks. If out of curiosity, if anyone does have a learning management system or has an automated process for this, or is the majority of folks using Excel spreadsheets like you said. Larry, I don't know if you know off the top of your head what it kind of looks like across the network. I know you guys grow by acquisition, so it might be varying degrees of that. Just curious on that part.
The learning management system we have was rolled out through SAP under the success factors, but it hasn't been rolled over to EHS yet. That's actually an ongoing thing.
Okay.
So mostly the sites are tracking a lot of it via site methods, usually using something like Excel.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
So,
good
Larry,
question.
is the goal to have all the safety trainings within success factors? Is that what you're thinking?
It is, but that's not like even a 2023 thing. It might be like
Okay.
2024 before that's finally completed, because it's complex getting all the training in there and then getting everyone registered and everything else.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Okay.
Well, just know when that time comes that you would, want the courseware loaded on your in-house learning system, SAP, that we can absolutely support that through the SCORM format. In the interim, we have, as I said, an enterprise grade learning system that you could get started and get your tracking automated, and then pull those reports out of that system into SAP when that time comes.
Got it. Thank you.
That makes sense?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
All right,
Yes, thank you.
SDS and chemical management. So we've got tools to get all of your SDSs, assuming that they're in paper format, into digital format where they can be managed and tracked more effectively. And you can also give your employees electronic access to those SDSs from either a mobile device and or just a workstation in the area. And it'll have all your regulatory reporting on there. And you can also take it one step further and track chemical quantities, container life cycles, and threshold limits, things of that nature. So it becomes more of a chemical management tool as well, or just a basic safety data sheet management. So kind of two levels there. We also have some occupational health tracking. This is what Trey was talking about a moment ago, with the audiometric testing, pulmonary function, respiratory, and then also that medical clearing tool for respirator use. So I'll skip over this. This is healthcare only. We do have an ergonomic wearable technology. This is best suited for environments like distribution centers and the like, where there's a lot of lifting, twisting, reaching going on. And this is a tool that provides immediate feedback to the employees who are in these types of environments, so that they can change their behavior and save on sprains and strains from these types of work. We also have a lone and at-risk worker offering. So for lone worker, there is a monitoring service. Now this would be, the service would do the monitoring for you, but there could be several different devices. It could either be a mobile app or this device that could be worn on the belt, or even one worn on the wrist that can provide immediate kind of SOS, emergency assistance, through the monitoring center. And in fact, we are in the process of utilizing this, onboarding this particular offering within Grainger for our own internal needs at our branches. So something that we can certainly discuss with you if there's a need there. And then we have things for protecting people while driving as well. So there's mobile apps for that, and other capabilities to help. And then even some tools for screening workers for fatigue and impairment that can be helpful in certain types of situations also, depending on the hazards of the work being done. And then we have forklift accident prevention tools. We have really two offerings in this area. One looks like this, with this stacked light approach, and can help the driver understand when they're coming up on pedestrians and or other objects, other forklifts or racks, things like that. And it'll notify them so they can be aware of that. And this other one is a little bit different approach to solving the same problem, and that is to have a display here that will give them an indication when they're approaching pedestrians or other objects. And it also can be required for the forklift operator to actually do their pre-shift inspection on the forklift and also answer a series of questions, and it'll lock them out until they complete that process. So it can help facilitate that as well, making certain that only authorized people are able to use that forklift or powered industrial vehicle. All right, so that's a overview. Went a little quick on some things, but I hope you get at least a sense for the depth and breadth of our offering as it relates to our digital EH&S.
Hey, Rick, quick question. Is this, all or none, or can you pick and choose the offerings that you'd want to move forward with?
Yeah, completely a la carte. So everything that you see here are separate offerings that can be purchased independently of the others.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, and Matthew's team, Larry, I'm sure you're going to take charge on the direction of this, just letting you know that we can also support sandbox versions. So if anybody wants to get in and play around, we can do that. So just food for thought. Rick, do you want to go ahead and dive into a micro learning for hand and power tool?
Sure. So when I was talking about the learning management system, I told you that we had this dashboard view, and that's what you're seeing right now. Let me just refresh this, make certain that we hadn't timed out. Here we go. So this is for the administrator. So you'd mentioned that ultimately you'd want all our courseware content, if you go that direction, hosted on your in-house learning system. But this could be a learning system that you could use in the interim. And we have many customers who use this on a daily basis with your dashboard view here in the center, so you can monitor past due assignments. So if there's something past due, you can quickly see some level of higher level detail of who's past due on what. And then if you ever needed to, you could dive into the reporting. So let's go specifically to the courseware library. And I'll filter on the Grainger EH&S Plus library. This is the one I told you before, over 900 topics, and you can see down here, there's 972. This is an ever-growing library. I think last year this time we were about 860 titles, so over 100 more in a 12-month period. So this is our courseware library. If you subscribe to this, you would have access to all of these topics. But keep in mind, you could also load your own content, whether it be an instructor-led course, your own online content, or even your own SCORM content as well, which is an industry standard. So very flexible in that regard. As it relates to hand and power tools, so we've got several courses, as you can see in here, related to that. And are you familiar with the term microlearning?
You got a couple thumbs up, Rick, if you can't
Oh,
see.
thumbs up. Sorry, I can't see that. Okay, yeah. So then you're aware that these are separate chapters within the larger course. So you'll see in this column here, many of these are 4, 5, 6 minutes, and that can be helpful when you're, want to kind of keep it to short events when you're training your employees. Of course, all of these have the longer course, and you can always assign that as well. So let's look at one. Trey, any of these in particular that you wanted me to launch?
Sorry, I was on mute there. If you could do a Cal OSHA, let's do the pneumatic and hydraulic.
This one here? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is 4 minutes of duration. So let's go ahead and launch it. Oh, you know what? I'm going to need to reshare because otherwise the sound won't come through. So I'm going to, just a second here. I'm going to stop sharing and reshare. So give me just a moment here. Okay. Can you see my screen again?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Sure
All right,
can.
now the sound should be coming through. If it's not, let me know. You notice here in this course, this particular one has two languages, English and Spanish. But in this library, there are many courses that have multiple languages. I think there's a dozen plus courses that are translated courses, I should say, translations. And so it's not unusual that there would be multiple languages here that the end user can select from.
Pneumatic tools are special tools powered by compressed air. Common examples of these tools are chippers, drills, hammers, and sanders. If used improperly, the hose that attaches the tool to the air canister can detach and fling the tool or attachment towards the user or others. Other common hazards of pneumatic tools include excessive noise, vibration, fatigue, and strains. To prevent accidental detachment, always check to see that the tool is securely fastened to the air hose and blow out the line before connecting a tool. Pneumatic tools must have a short wire or positive locking device to prevent detachment. Never attempt to override this. Treat the air hose with the same precautions as you would an electrical cord. Avoid rough handling and placing it near sharp surfaces. Never use compressed air to blow debris or dirt from clothes. Lastly, you must use a safety clip or retainer on the tool's attachments to prevent them from ejecting when in use. Before each use, inspect your pneumatic tool to make sure that these safety features are securely in place.
So that's the way the course will go. It'll be similar videos played, and it'll go for a minute or so. As you can see, that was 1:07. And then there will also be quiz questions that will be asked, and then they'll have to complete those 100%. If they miss a question, then they're going to be dropped back into the content to review it again, so that when they take the quiz question again, they get 100%, then they can move on to the next chapter of the course. And of course, all of that is tracked back into the learning system, whether it be our learning system or ultimately your learning system as well. And I'm certainly happy to continue through this course if you'd like, but it'll be a similar experience. Just carry on with different topics related to pneumatic tools.
Yeah. So, Larry, I know the request was around hand and power tool training. And we could certainly reach out to the manufacturers that we sell for to have a robust overview of training. But what are your thoughts on direction for that, and maybe next call after the holidays as we look at the new year?
Sorry, my thoughts towards the hand and power tool training.
Yeah, you wanted hand and power tool training, and we wanted to dial in the details, and I guess we could probably do that on a separate call. But as we look towards the next style of training for January, what did you want to focus on? A certain hand power tool? Because I know you had requested grinders as well. Just as we look forward, what would be your request?
Yeah, actually, if we could do that on an offline call, because then we can start to look at our travel schedules too and see where you and I can get to a site together. And then on the grinding, I think really having you as part of our grinding safety committee would be helpful there, so we can kind of figure out what that leaves us with other topics to be able to discuss for the training.
Okay. Yeah, then I think we could probably wrap up today's call. So again, we went over the medical clearance, and thanks for the LOC on that, Larry. I'm reading through that now. The preamble's throwing me for a little bit of a loop, so I'll talk to you about that one off. But I think the opportunity to support you all is there. I think outside of just our digital services, for those on this call, you may not realize we have over 400 actual safety services that we can provide organizations such as yours. I know each site is specific. You'll all recognize your own hazards individually. Collectively, there may be some similarities, which is probably what Larry and I will work on as we move through. But when there's one-offs, don't be afraid to reach out to your aligned support resource, or Amanda or myself. We'll be glad to point you in the right direction and get the support you need. We'd rather these trainings occur, these site evaluations occur get you the support you need versus not taking any action. I just read a recent article that fatalities went up another 9% from prior year, which if you ever look at the fatality line, it's remained pretty stagnant throughout OSHA's inception, while incident rates have decreased about 60%. Severe injuries and fatalities have remained relatively stagnant, and even over the past 10 years have increased. And so as we think about things that could result in a severe injury or fatality, we absolutely at Grainger want to get ahead of it with you as a partner. So please lean into us. We've got 50 total safety specialists across the nation, as well as into Canada. We do have Puerto Rico operations as well that can support site to site. So whenever you need those, we're ready to deploy them. And those are free of charge. Those are no cost consultants. They're all board certified by the BCSP and ready to help at any given time. Amanda, did you have anything additional you wanted to add?
No, I think I just wanted to confirm, Larry, I know we were kind of between, do we want to talk about grinder safety on the next call, or we want to hone in more on what the monthly focus is for Matthews, which I think is the first aid, AED, bloodborne pathogen, and workplace wellness for January. Do we want that to be kind of the topic of January's call, or do we want to connect kind of with? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're okay. So Trey and I are going to connect, but we were going to do the monthly for next month, and then on the grinder, we're having a special safety committee developed for that, and we'd like Trey to be invited to be part of that if he would join us, and then that's where we can start talking about the grinder specific safety elements.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I'm all in. I'm all in. Yep.
All right, sounds like a plan. Well, again, thank you all for jumping on. I will send out both of the presentations that Trey and Rick presented, and I will be uploading this to our fun YouTube channel. I will never be a content creator in my life because it took me a long time to figure that out, but it's figured out. So moving forward, I will host all of these calls on that YouTube channel. So those will be up shortly, and I will send out that link again just as a reminder how to access it. But I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday and a happy new year if we don't talk. Thanks again for the time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks,
Happy
everyone.
holidays.
Thanks, everyone.
Happy
Have a good
holidays.
one.